Hey, our nation. Welcome to another episode of Carla's channel, Heart to Heart Inspiration Podcast, your podcast for heart changing discussions. And thank you so much for joining today. Put in the chat where you're calling from. And if you're joining on Facebook or YouTube, we are streaming live on both of those platforms. And I'm going to see if I can get the other side of the stream working. One quick second. Okay, we'll see there. So thank you so much. Sorry for the delay. We are having some technical issues for our actor, uh, Joshua Farmer. So hopefully he'll be able to join and get on. But in the meantime, the show must go on, right? That's what they say in showbiz. The show must go on. So we are going to go ahead and give you another great show while we're waiting. So I wanted to say out there, how you doing today? Today is Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. How are you doing out there? What's going on in your world? Drop it in the chat where you're calling from, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or if you're watching from Instagram. So I've been talking this whole month about my my 1 year podcast anniversary. And it's been 1 year. Yesterday on this date last year, 2024, which was a Sunday, it was my debut podcast. And my good friend, she had two good friends. They had a story to tell about the losses and the PTSD experience during COVID that they personally experienced. One became a widow and one was a nurse on the front lines. So that was my debut, and it was just so heartwarming for me to hear that story and to get a glimpse of what they went through and how we all can just be a little bit more empathetic towards one another, right? That's what we want to do. So I also just want to give a big shout out to my family for supporting me during this journey. So first of all, my husband, Rich, I just want to thank you so much for always supporting me. You all don't know this, but I don't know, it's been over 20 years now. I had a live broadcast TV show in Chicago, and we would go live every week. And it was before all this good stuff. These platforms were available. It was on a TV network, and I would go live. Me and my mom would go live with me. My husband would be behind the scenes, and so I've always had just that passion to be a TV show host, a journalist, however you want to see it. But no, that's not what my career is in. It's just something I've always had a passion for. Public speaking. I've always done public speaking, event hosting, things like that. But I just want to give a shout out to you, my husband. I love you so much for always supporting me and all of my ideas, everything that I want to do. He's always there by my side. So I just want to say thank you for that. I also want to give a shout out to my mom. Mom, she's always there. We did the live TV show back in Chicago, like I said before. My mom always steps in. We also did a show on some history in Chicago when the National Guards came in. She gave us that story. I wasn't born yet. So, but my mom has told me all these stories for years, and now they all are coming to fruition. One of her teachers was the mother of Emmett Till. And she always told me that story. And then to see it on TV, actually a story about it has just been mind blowing to me. So, Mom, I just want to say thank you so much for all you do for me and supporting me. And then my dad, just want to give a shout out to my dad. My dad, you're always there as well. I love you so much. Thank you for supporting me. And my family, you all don't know, my family, they deal with all of my entrepreneurial ideas. Everything that I want to do, they always support me. So I just want to say thank you to all of my daughters and my grandkids now, because when they see me on the screen, they're like, Gma, you're on TV. So I just want to thank them as well. And my oldest grandson, he is always doing videos with me. You all seen him, Blake. He's on some of my videos with me. He shows me how to do TikTok, how to edit videos. We just have a good old time. So just want to thank you for that, Blake. Thank you for always helping me out. And then my three in between, and then my youngest, I'm gonna send out a Facebook message. He is actually in a contest for the most beautiful child. I don't know what is it called, contest. Shanice put it in the chat what he's in there for. I'm gonna send it out so everyone can vote for him. But I just want to say thank you to everyone, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. Thank you all for always supporting me. I love you so much. And then of course you all, the audience, for just always tuning in, giving me a chance. You know, you could be doing anything else, but I appreciate you all so much. And then my guests. So thank you so much for hanging in there today. Inspiration Nation. Hey, you are my inspiration too, sis. And then we got Queen Sugar watching from Chicago South Side. You know, I just love you all so much. And so what I wanted to do today is put some questions in the chat. You know, we're trying to see if our guest is able to get his system up and running to get on, but put some questions in the chat that you might have. I'll give you a little bit about me. You're going to be seeing a lot more of me on different shows and things. I've been asked to be a guest on a couple. So more of that will be coming forth, but a little bit about me. You just know me as your podcast host, Carla J. But really, when I was in high school, kind of what started this journey for me of public speaking. It started before that at church, always at church, doing something at church, plays. I wrote some plays. I was also doing sign language interpretation. That was a little later, but just always doing something. And when I was a senior in high school, I actually got married to my husband, who I'm married to now. And I was also pregnant. But no, this was not a shotgun wedding. We were actually in love, and I got pregnant, and he did ask to marry me, ask my parents. And what happened was from that, I got, I was kicked out of school. So I went to a Catholic all-girl high school, and they kicked me out of school. So what they said was, because you're married, you can no longer be a student here. It's a bad influence. And they didn't say because you're pregnant, though. Isn't that funny? They said because you're married, and we don't condone teen marriages. And so I had to finish school at home, and I was invited onto so many talk shows after that. I was on the Donahue show. I don't know if you newbies know who Donahue is. Put a one in the chat if you know who Donahue is. But I was on the Donahue show. Me, my mom, and my little sister. He showed me so much love. But it was a show about teenage pregnancy, and I was on there with some other great guests. I was also on. I was a part of Oprah Winfrey's Teen Illinois Council for Teenage Pregnancy. The radio hosts in my city were always talking about me because I couldn't go to prom or to luncheon or things like that, and they would just be joking. It was so funny to hear because they would be joking on the radio saying she should just go and just go kick the doors down to the prom and stuff like that. It was so funny, but all of those things made me want to have a heart for the people, to help people get their journeys out and their stories out, because that meant a lot to me. Because some of the things what the world knew about me at the time was that I was a teenage pregnant girl, and it was like I was going to be another statistic. That's how I felt, the things that were being said about me. So I wanted to have a voice for people to share their journeys. And that's why I do the podcast. I really love what I do. It's a calling. As my good friend, Inspiration Nation, Keisha Dorsey, she's an up and coming actress. You got to check her out. She was on the show 2 weeks ago, I believe, but it's all in God's timing. That's what she's always says. It's always in God's timing, no matter what. So in the spirit of what this podcast episode was to be about is take action. Take action now. If you are wanting to do something, take action on it. Yes, do your research, but don't do all the research that you just keep going in circles. And I got to get this certificate. I need this equipment. I need this degree. Whatever it is, don't let that outweigh what you're trying to do. And that's the message today. You know, I don't have it all together with the podcast. I'm still learning, still getting things together, but it's a start, you know, and that's the main thing that you want to do is just get your start, get your foot in the door. So whatever it is. So in the chat, if you all could just engage with me a little bit, put in there something that you have been thinking about starting, but you haven't started, or something that you were thinking about and you did start, you took the plunge. So whatever it is, a degree, going to school, going for a promotion. It doesn't mean you got it, but if you just went after it, just put it in the chat. I just want to talk a little bit about that with you all, and you know, just see how you're doing with that. And if you just need some motivation, sometimes you just need some motivation. And you know, that's what we're all about. But also, if you are in the audience and you want to come to the stage, let me know. There's a way I can send you an invitation link and you can join me on the stage. You know, you could do that as well. You got a song you want to sing and you want to try it out on us and say, oh, I've been thinking about something, you know, or if you're an inspiring actress or actor and you just want to have some motivation and you want to talk about it, come on. We are open forum today. Hopefully our guests can come on, but you know, the show must go on. That's what they say in showbiz. The show must go on. And I'm just still honored to be here with you all. Okay. Inspiration Nation says, I want to start event hosting and traveling to host those events. Woo! Yes. Let me tell y'all, Inspiration Nation, that's her name for her platform, but she is awesome. She is a fashion guru and she is blowing up, y'all. She is on these shows. She just got an award. Inspiration Nation, what award did you just get? You got like a bunch of awards. She got a bunch of awards she's an author. Put the name of your book in the link. Anyone who's watching, if you have a book, a record, you know, a song, something that's broadcast that you want people to take a look at or buy, feel free to put it in the chat while we're waiting on that. But also, I just want to tell you about some more of my guests that are coming up as well. I'm also going to have another actor and director and producer, and his name is Andrew. And he's going to be on, I got my calendar here, September 30th. He's going to be on September 30th. And he is on Prime Video right now with his newest movie called Access. I'll put that in the chat too. And it's pretty good. He does Christian films. So I like his films. And there was another one that he did that's on Tubi right now. Oh, I can't think of the name of it. Queen Sugar, if you know the name of his other movie, put it in the chat for me. I can't think of it right now. And I'll put his name in there. He's coming on the show. And then September 20th, this Thursday, we're going to have a woman of God coming on. She is talking about relationships. She is 64 years old, just got married. She's a newlywed, and she is excited to just share some insight into her journey of just getting married at the age of 64. So that's going to be great. She's dropping some great nuggets. And then that's going to be this Thursday live. Well, this Thursday it's going to be on here. So tune in Thursday, same time, same station. And then the 23rd, September 23rd, I have an awesome guest that's going to be joining. Her name is Eunice Matthews. She's a nurse, and she has reached 1 million subscribers on YouTube. What she does is she does CPR classes, CNA prep, nursing prep, license prep, and she does all this live on YouTube so that you can actually see and learn, and people are using her content to pass their exams for nursing, for CNA school, for CPR classes. She does all of that. And she also has her own business, fingerprint business. I mean, she is really doing it up. And she just got a deal for her own TV show. She's going to be on September 23rd. So got a great lineup coming. So I talked about this Thursday. That's going to be Sister Adrian talking about her life as a newlywed and relationship advice that she's giving. And then September 23rd, we got Nurse Eunice Matthews. She's a boss nurse. She's a boss entrepreneur. But you know what? She talks about the losses she's had too and how she regained her status. So that's big. And then on September 30th, we have Andrew Billiard. I hope I'm not saying his name incorrectly. He's a Christian writer and director, filmmaker. He's going to be on. And then in October, I mean, we just got a whole lineup. We have some more actors and actresses coming on, Mari G and Shantae Delon. And they're going to be talking about their film, Finding Nicole, which is about a woman, a real story about a woman who was in an abusive relationship and her battle with the courts. It's great. Great interviews. You don't want to miss that. And then I also am going to have on a service that helps veterans. And there's a 911 like type of service they have where you can call them if you're feeling depressed, if suicidal, things like that. They're going to talk about their mission. So I know we have some people in the audience who are veterans, military, or family members of military. That's going to be very informational. I want you to join for that. So I have a whole show lined up, and one other person is going to be on in October. Have you all ever heard of The Matrix? Put a 1 in the chat if you heard of The Matrix. Put a 1 in the chat if you heard of The Matrix. And I want to talk about that for a minute. The movie The Matrix with Neo and the other guy, the Oracle. So put a 1 if you heard of that. Okay. So one of my next guests, she's going to be on in October. Sorry, I'm just looking to see if I got a message seeing if this is our guest. You heard of the Oracle, right? So this woman actually, sorry, this lady, her name is Sophia Stewart. Look her up. She is actually the writer of The Matrix. Can you all believe that? So what happened with her was she is actually the one who wrote a book about it and was going to put it to film. She called to I don't want to say the name. I don't want to say it incorrectly. She called a place to help get her movie produced. But guess what, y'all? They stole her idea. And that's how the movie, The Matrix, came about. But guess what? She sued for copyright infringement. And she won. We're talking about millions. She won because she persevered. She pushed. She didn't just let them say, oh, no, you going against the big wigs. It ain't nothing you could do. They told her that, but she said, y'all, it's going to be epic. And she says she has 3 books out. And she says she is the Oracle in the book. So it's just been so wonderful talking with her. Just want to give a shout out to Inspiration Nation. Thank you for chiming in. You said, please connect you to Andrew. I sure will. I'm going to give him your information. And then Inspiration Nation, she put her book in the chat, The Adventures of Little Peanut and TJ on Amazon. And she got a new book coming too called From Innocence to Lust. Oh boy, sex and scandal in the church. Y'all better watch out now. I can't wait. Our guest did say he's still getting there with his technical issues, but he's gonna try and come on. So thank you for hanging in there with me. So those are some of the guests lined up. So my encouragement to you all is if you have something that you are trying to get out there, whether it's a product, a book, or whatever it is, be careful with your rights, okay? With your copyright information, your intellectual property, things like that. Be careful with that because people will try to steal it. And Keep all of your documentation, because you can be a walking millionaire just like my guest Sophia Stewart. So hang on to October. She will be here talking about her journey. And also just want to give a shout out to Nisa Shabazz. Nisa, I don't know if I saw you on here, if I got a message from you, but thank you so much. She'll be on the podcast this Thursday as well, talking about relationships. And she says she's married to the movement. She is an advocate. She's in Atlanta, Georgia. She is everywhere that's doing advocacy, for the culture. So she's going to talk a little bit about that, her journey. And she has been really instrumental with helping me connect with people, and I'm so thankful for that. Okay, so let's see. Put in the chat if you are. I think I did see someone who said they were trying to start their own business. Let me see. Oh, that was getting on the stage. Yes. So what kind of things are you doing, for your event hosting? Do you have, put where we can find you at so we can help support you? And get you get you some events to host, red carpet events, whatever it is, church events, banquets, high school, whatever it is that you're doing. Just let us know. We're here to support and help. And we are we're just going to give Joshua a little bit more time. He said he's still trying to join, y'all. But just put in the chat where you're calling from. I got Chicago in the house. I think did I see Las Vegas? We are live on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. So the Instagram acted right today. Yay. So, just put where you're calling from, drop some comments in there. And this is what happens when you go live. It's so much, it's safer to go pre-recorded. And I do a lot like that, but I love the live interaction. I do. I live for it. So when you go live, these are some of the things that can happen. People have issues, connection issues, and things like that. But one of the other things too, I wanted to talk about is Deaf Awareness Month. September is Deaf Awareness Month. And my oldest daughter is deaf, and she was born deaf. However, we did not know she was deaf when she was born. Okay. So when she was born in the 80s, there was no hearing screening before you left the hospital. Okay. That wasn't a thing then, but we didn't find out till she was about 14 months old that she was deaf. And let me tell you the significance of that. The significance of having newborn screening tests today before infants leave the hospital. The significance is because if they don't hear, if people don't hear sound before the age of 2 years old, their ability to communicate, whether it's through speech, learning, things like that, it diminishes like almost close to zero. So you've heard the term we no longer say it, but you heard of the term deaf mute. We don't say mute anymore because they can communicate with their hands, sign language and things like that. So we don't say that. They got the cochlear implant. They can hear and use some speech that way. So we don't say mute anymore. But how that came about was because they didn't have the hearing or the sound. They couldn't talk. So I was just so proud. When I found out my daughter was deaf, I went on a mission. I was really in a state of, my daughter is not going to be a statistic. She is going to have a great life, a full life. She's going to be just like everyone else who's hearing. And I dedicated her childhood to doing that. So I visited schools. I visited lawmakers. I learned more and more. And I even fought for newborn hearing screening tests to be done in the hospitals. And that is one of the reasons why you have them today. So if you know someone who's pregnant, your friends, your family, please encourage them to get those hearing screening tests, because it only benefits the child. It really benefits the child. If they're deaf, like my daughter is severely deaf. If they're deaf, they can get the hearing aids. They can start sign language communication earlier. Okay, so that's the reason why you want to do it earlier. Also, so if you got questions about that, just DM me. Let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions about that. And then also, one of the other things is it is also, you know, I'm talking a lot about maternal statistics. So people who are pregnant. Did you all know that Black women in the U.S. have the highest deaths for maternal rates, whether that's during pregnancy, during labor, or after pregnancy? Our mothers and our infants are dying more than any other race in the US. Okay. And Mississippi is leading. Okay. Mississippi is leading. The top three is Mississippi, Alabama, and I want to say New Mexico. They are the top three. Okay. So I am a doula and I do virtual services as well, education. So if you know someone who's pregnant, especially if they are high risk, especially if they're Black, especially if they have any conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, any other type of illnesses before they got pregnant or while they're pregnant, they are at higher risk of having maybe a complication, but doesn't mean that something bad is going to happen to them. No. But what a doula help do is educate them and talk to them more frequently. So what I try to do for my clients, I talk to you like 3 to 4 times a week. You know, if that's how much you want to talk to me, more or less, to your comfort level. But I'm helping you to look for signs and symptoms of things that may go wrong, because during the early part of your pregnancy, you're not even going to the doctor except maybe once a month or something like that. So there's a lot of time in between there that things can come up, questions can come up. Okay, and that's what your doula is for, or your midwife. So I just want to get that out there. Let me just check in with our guest and just see how he's doing, if he's able to get on. Let's see here. This is how it goes, and it's all good. You know, if we don't get them this time, we'll get them next time. So, but we just thank you all for joining, and I don't see him yet again. So we are past our time, and I appreciate you. Inspiration Nation. She said she had an open cervix, and I think I lost children because of this. My insurance was not good, and I think that's why I was serviced improperly. Yes, that you were not serviced properly. That's what you're thinking, and it very well could be. You know, that's another another thing that you can have. Thank you for bringing that up, because if you have an open cervix, sometimes they call it an incompetent cervix. You can have that as well, where it's open and there's a procedure that they can do to sew it up, but it usually has to be done before a certain time period in your pregnancy. But if they can't do it before that time, they'll have you on bed rest, you know, sometimes, so that there's no chance of another miscarriage, or your baby, you know, being born too early and the odds not being good for survival. So thank you for bringing up. Those are all the types of things that can be discussed, you know, and you can ask for it. I got to do a whole nother segment on doula services and how you can empower yourself when you go to the doctor to ask questions. Okay, especially if you've had miscarriages. I was one. I had miscarriages. I had stillbirths, or, you know, babies that were born way too early that couldn't make it. And I too was diagnosed with an incompetent cervix later. So those are some of that experience that I can bring and help you with questions to ask. Okay. So I just want to say thank you. Anything else in the chat that you want to ask about, have questions about? And if not, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We'll have to catch back up with Joshua when his service is better. I will, you know, say he is on Tubi, so that you can watch him. Just go ahead and type in his name on Tubi, and you will be able to see some of the movies that he's in, and check him out of Memphis, Tennessee. So thank you, Inspiration Nation. Yeah, I know what you meant, Sir Clodge, for that procedure. Yep. So you can go ahead and look him up on Tubi and see where he is. And again, look for my post on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok about the upcoming guests, okay, so that you can join in and see them. Okay, Heart Nation, thank you so much for chilling with me. Love you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care of one another.